Hello, my name is Akwame Eliozu,
My name is Rebecca Choi.
My name is Banks Totman.
and this is addressing the digital divide by Team Sigma. I've had firsthand experience with this so-called digital divide. Growing up, I remember being sent home with packages to complete online assignments and being left out of the interactive experience the internet had to offer. According to the NC Broadband Survey, 60% of North Carolinians don't have adequate internet access, whereas 40.76% do have 25 down, 3 up. Based on assumptions and modeling, we estimated the cost of providing adequate internet to every student who will enter post-secondary education in the next 8 years in order to close this gap. We did so by determining the allocation of funds for each county in a smart, data-driven way. This allocation of funds will invest in students receiving these post-secondary education degrees in the next 8 years. So by 2030, we'll reach the quota of 2 million post-secondary degrees in the state of North Carolina.
So based on the North Carolina broad-based survey, we found the percentage of people who either didn't have internet because they couldn't afford it or because they didn't have access to the infrastructure. And then we looked at data from the NC1 map which gave the number of students per county that are K to 12. We specifically looked at these households because they're our target population, as these are the people that are going to be going on to get their post-secondary education in the next 8 years. So combining these two data sets, we found the number of households with children for each county that either didn't have internet because they couldn't afford it or didn't have it because they didn't have the infrastructure. The second part is then we assigned to each reason cost. So for $600 per family per year for those who couldn't afford it, and then $1,400 for households that didn't have the infrastructure, and this one would be more of a one-time cost. And then putting all of these together, we were able to come up with a total cost for the state to provide internet for these families throughout the state.
And so that total cost that we came up with was $2.2 billion for the year 2023. And while this might seem like a large amount, it's important to realize the short-term and long-term components of this. The short-term is going to be the more infrastructure-based component, which is $2.1 billion. And below you can see the breakdown of urban versus rural. And the more long-term is going to be the people who can't currently afford the internet that they could have, and that's about $98 million. And then after this, we wanted to take a look at how this broke down between urban and rural counties. And so below you can see the total cost that we would be spending in urban and rural counties and the population for each. And once you take population into effect in the cost per person, you can see it evens out quite a bit, with the discrepancy of rural being a little higher, mostly due to the fact that we mostly be focusing on establishing more expensive infrastructure in rural counties. Now, the most important thing, of course, is the deliverable, which is the total amount of students that we're going to provide internet to that haven't had it previously. And as you can see, it's remarkably similar between rural and urban counties, showing the almost equal distribution, with a total of 700,000 students getting internet that didn't have it previously. And on this slide, you can see the money that we're going to allocate per person in each county and how it's pretty much even across the state. And so now we want to take some time just to talk about how this model is going to work going forward, as we want to make sure that it remains flexible. A big thing that we looked at is going to be with infrastructure being a more short-term component. Once that's addressed, several people that responded that they had infrastructure concerns. Once the infrastructure is there, they're then going to have expense concerns. And so taking that into account. So as infrastructure goes down, expense goes up.
Some data that we wish we had would be an improved survey that also included county response bases, because our model is heavily reliant on the different counties. And I believe that having county responses will make our information for the counties more representative of each county, and we would want better response data to differentiate between the specific needs of the households.
Finally, going on in the future, we'd also like to collect data on these students who are given internet by the state and looking how in the future how many of these students actually go on to attain post-secondary degrees, because hopefully in the future we'll see a positive feedback loop as where we have more degrees, incomes go up, and then more people are able to afford internet.